Welcome back. We are kicking off the construction framework. And I break this into several different points. And I'm going to start off by talking about the three different ways to get your building, to get your assisted living. So you can buy an existing building, an existing home. It could be an existing home, or it could be a commercial building. The principle is really the same. You can buy an existing home and renovate it and or add an addition. Or you can build ground up, new construction. That's option number two. Or the third option is you can buy an existing facility, something that it's already purpose built. It's been running for, it already has a license, or it used to have a license. It's operating, or it's vacant, either one. But that's really the three options. So we're going to unpack these because there's pros and cons to all three of them. So the first one here, let's talk about this idea of buying an existing building, buying an existing home. And what are the great things about it? What are the challenges to this option, right? So I think if I'm going to look at this, I'm considering I'm going to buy an existing house or an existing building, and I'm going to renovate that building and make it what I want for my assisted living, or maybe or I'm going to add an addition to that. So maybe I want to buy a house and it's not as big as I want, so maybe I will do an addition and I'll add a wing to one side of the building, and maybe I can have an extra 8 bedrooms on one side. Or maybe I just want to buy I found the perfect house, perfect location, and it's small. It's only 1,500 square feet. Maybe that's just going to be my great room, and then I'm going to go to the left and to the right and build a bunch of bedrooms one way or the other. Or perhaps you find this big house at its perfect size and exactly what you're looking for in the right location, and you want to renovate that. You want to either keep the bedrooms the way they are, or you want to move some of these walls and open it up and create what you want to do. So this is kind of what we are talking about in this lesson about renovating an existing property. Here are some of the pros and some of the cons. Let's start with the pros. The pros is of these three different options I mentioned, it's the second quickest of all, because I would say that buying existing, you can get done right away, but it's the second quickest of all. So longest being new construction, this being the second fastest option. So it is relatively quicker, right? You could potentially get this kind of deal done in maybe 6 months, right? You're going to buy something and renovate it and get your license. Maybe you get it done in 6 months. It could take longer. It could take 12. But it's definitely been shorter than going through the process of building new construction. So I consider that a pro, right? I'm going to be cash flowing sooner than later. And then if you're going to buy an existing home and start with that, there's a lot of houses, right? The whole country is full of houses. So there's more options to choose from. There's houses everywhere, and you can have your pick. Now, we'll get into the zoning and whether you can actually do it on the con side, but there is a lot of options, at least to start with. It doesn't mean you can do the deal, but there's a lot of options to start with. And then it's in a neighborhood. And I think that is really one of the advantages of this is you don't want to feel like this big, smelly, big box facility, right? If you want to have a more intimate boutique home or mansion, it's on the pro side for sure, right? It's what people want. They want to stay away from the big smelly facilities, and more so now in a post-COVID world, nobody wants to be around 100 other seniors, and a smaller, more intimate model is a better way to go. So it's definitely a pro. You have utilities there, right? There is a house and it already has utilities. Now you may have to add some of those utilities, so we can put that in a con side, but you probably already have, power and water and sewer, and you're pretty much ready to go from a utility site. You don't have to do site work. You don't have to bring in underground utilities and those kind of options. So there's a lot of pros here. I think the last thing that I would say in this pro is you have the option to do an addition. And I really think that this opens up a ton of options for you. And that's really why I like it and I put it on the pro side, because you don't have to look for the right size house. If you want a 16 bed or a 12 bed or a 10 bed, or it doesn't really matter what you choose, but you don't have to find that many bedrooms in the house. You can find any house in the perfect location. And then if you have the space in the backyard or in the side yard or the front, you can start adding wings. You can do a gut the whole inside and then just add some wings. And I really like this because you can start with a location that you like and utilities that are there, and do really minimal site work, and then let's just add some more bedrooms, right? I'm gonna add a whole wing over here and a whole wing over here, and now I got my 16 bedrooms or my 12 or whatever number it is for you. And I think that's a huge advantage because it's so much harder and longer to do the alternative, to go building the whole thing new construction.